Yo, what's up guys? So we're here showcasing off the new Master Rule 2020, or aka Master Rule 5 is what a lot of people are calling it. Nonetheless, we're going to be showcasing off Infernities, utilizing a lot of the exceeds that you guys probably wouldn't normally run in Infernities, but because, of course, of that new Master Rule that we're getting next year, a lot of people are trying to figure out different builds, and one card, number 60, is excellent. This way you don't really lock yourself down with that card. And on top of that, you have King of the Feral Imps. This allows you to detach material and add a reptile, which can be the snake card, the Tsuchinoko, which basically just gives you an extra free summon, because if it's the only card you have, it's special summoning itself either way. And then we have multiple negates. We've got 4 negates with Apollosa, and then of course with the Infernity engine, you're going to be usually getting at least double negates with, of course, the barrier effect. We're going to go ahead and see Mothman, and now Necromancer activating its effect over here. And now you can go ahead and make Levier without clogging up your zones. And then now we're going to go ahead and see it F0 Future Dragon. We're going to go ahead and actually make multiple of these. This card effect negates your opponent's card effect, and then if they still control it, you get to snatch steal it forever, which is quite nasty. And you can see double Leviers over here. And on top of that, this is 4 negates, this is 5, this is 6, and then on top of that, that's 7, that's 8, and this is a snatch steal for permanent stealing your opponent's monster. I don't know what this guy was playing. I saw this in the back, and I'm like, it doesn't really matter. I was thinking, I'm like, okay, this deck is irrelevant, but if you think about it, I mean, we've got so many negates that most decks can't compete with this. And again, if you want to with F0, if you detach material from this card to negate the activation of your opponent's monster effect as a quick effect, you get to actually take control of it forever, which can actually get quite nasty, especially since you can go completely off and you don't require those link zones. Honestly, this build, because this instance at the end phase, we didn't really need those zones, it still kind of helps out because it lets you go for King of Feral Imps plus number 60 before you go for the Apollosa, which is actually important. Otherwise, the play would be kind of scuffed. But Infernities were already quite a great deck already. But let's go ahead and check it up against Guardians, as well as some other duels over here. So in the very beginning, by the way, what you're seeing is the activation of the Master Rule 5. So you're going to go ahead and see this duel up against Guardians. Guardians is another deck that can actually be a lot better for the new format, because obviously that's a deck that always wants to synchro. It's really not that great of a deck for most of the plays. It does have this weird play style where what you're trying to do with the deck is being able to set up some burn damage, but it's realistically not good. Even still with the new Master Rule, while they do get quite better, at the end of the day, it just doesn't have the sustainability that other decks can have. Now, once again, we're going to see the King of Feral Imps go for the Tsuchinoko. It's going to go ahead and special summon itself. Launch, going to go ahead and activate, bring back the Necromancer as well as the Archfiend. Archfiend adding the other barrier, and then we go into Apollosa from that play over there. And then Levier is actually going to be a lot better now, especially in Infernities. You guys are seeing multiple times he's bringing them back, and that is because we're able to go ahead and make the F0 Future Utopic. And he goes ahead and also makes a Tornado Dragon, kind of an interesting card. I haven't seen that, but at the end of the day, this is 4 negates, this is 5, this is 6, this is 7. At that point, you're good. I mean, let's be honest here. Is your opponent going to be activating that many effects? More than likely not. And then, Tornado Dragon, again, is another quick effect, so you can look at that as an additional negate. Depending on what decks that you are playing up against, this card can be okay. There's not really that many great, rank 4s that you're able to kind of utilize in this deck, but at least in the end phase, you're able to pop, so it allows you to kind of go off the next turn a little bit better with Tornado Dragon, just in case there are any back row cards during the end phase. You just pop one, comes around your turn, activate its effect again, and that basically gets rid of 2 back row, just in case your opponent is playing a deck that would like to set a lot of cards. But for the most part, Barrier just gets around a lot of this stuff. I think a lot of times what people will activate is, Dark Ruler No More, or Evenly Matched. Those are the ways to come back from these big boards, but at the end of the day, Barrier is still Barrier, and it gets around a lot of those other things. So we're going to go ahead and check out the last one over here. This guy wants to read with the Guardians, so we'll go ahead and showcase this one off over here. So, once again, I mean, pretty much you've seen what the deck can do, and time again, it's going to have a very similar playstyle, which is pretty much just go for Apollosa with multiple negates and then the F0 Dragon card. Again, this new Master Rule changes things because you don't have to go immediately for going for the Bow of the Goddess, or essentially a Link monster over here. So he's going to go ahead and start. You just supposed to summon the Greffer, and then he's going to go ahead and be able to go Launcher, and then kind of go off from here. Now this one over here, I guess technically, yeah, we did have the Levier first, but this is more of an Exceed variant of the deck. I wanted to do a Synchro version of this deck and show off the loop, because The Infernities used to be really good because of the Trishula loop, but as time has gotten further down the line, there's so many hand traps right now in the game, and obviously, yeah, hand traps can beat a lot of different decks, especially with Infernity, because they can't really play Called by the Grave. At certain steps, yeah, maybe you can make use of it, but generally they are an all-in deck, and now we're going to go ahead and see, once again, the double F0 Utopic, and this one's going to have boosted stats over here, so he's going to go ahead and stop the Super Koi Koi over here, and pretty much after this point, everything's getting negated, so good luck actually trying to pull anything off. But you know, he's got a couple extra cards, so we're gonna go ahead and snatch steal that monster, and now we've got his card. He's gonna go ahead and bring back another monster, and he's gonna activate the effect of Zebra Grass, but that's gonna not go through. And now we've stolen all of our opponent's cards, and obviously with that, look at that disrespect. He gonna smack him with the Zebra Grass. He beat him with his own card, man. But anyways, I know this wasn't like against like Sky Strikers or other decks, but I want to say for the most part, you should be a-okay on majority of the matchups with, again, like 7 to 8 negates. I mean, at the end of the day, your opponent isn't going to be playing. I know the first one with the Yomi ship was like, what the heck was that? Anyways, let's go ahead and hop right into the deck profile for the Infernity Exceeds variant. There will be a Synchro variant that I do want to cover that goes over Trishula looping your opponent, which I think overall is, I would say, better, because if your opponent has like no cards in their hand, right, it works way better in the OCG because of Avarice and the recyclability, but because you can Daigusto Emerald, you can shuffle back 2 of them after, of course, going for Saryuja. You know, I won't mention the play in this video because I'll save it for the Synchro version of the deck, which can actually hand loop your opponent. I would argue, like I said, that one is better, although this one does bust out F0, and I think this is a really cool card as well. But anyways, let's go and hop right into the deck profile for this variant of the deck. So we got 1 copy of course, Archfiend, because you can only run 1 copy, but in the OCG, this deck gets absolutely way more broken. Like, the OCG with Pot of Avarice, the triple Archfiend, it's like unreal. Anyways, 1 copy of Archfiend, 3 copies of Mothman, 1 copy of Grepher, 3 copies of the Street Patrol, 1 copy of the Dinotherium, 3 copies of the Chupacabra, 1 copy of the Armageddon Knight, 1 copy of the Infernity Patriarch, we got 1 copy of Fiendish Rhino Warrior, 2 copies of Tsuchinoko, 1 copy of the Archfiend High-Risk, 2 copies of Jackalope, 3 copies of Necromancer, 3 copies of Lyric Darkness, 3 copies of basically Monster Reborn for them. And then we've got Reinforcement of the Army, we got Upstart Goblin, we've got Foolish Boreal, 1 copy of Reborn, 3 copies of Into the Void, 2 copies of Succession. This is just so you can play the new Master Rule, so it's not really in here. And then we got Launcher, 3 copies of Barrier. Honestly, you could probably drop the Upstart here, unless he's just really hoping for extra consistency, I guess, in one sense. But I still think you could just do without, to be honest, unless there's something that I missed out on that is very viable. I guess if you draw into another card after you have 0 cards, yeah, I guess you can argue that like the Upstart does have its value. But then I guess there's also this card puts it at the bottom. I don't really feel like there's any like, you know, top deck potential with this that you can like force, but yeah, if you want to let me know, I really can't think of a way to really like utilize this. I think this card should be dropped, but anyways, you guys can let me know your thoughts down below on the Infernity variant for Master Rule 5 down below. And like I said, I will cover Synchro. This is just going to be the Exceed version. But yo, shout out to my boy AzneyesWhitedragon for hooking me up with these plays, because I like this card. I think this card is a really awesome card, and it doesn't normally see too much play, but I think now with this new Master Rule format, of course, stacking cards on top of each other will be a lot easier because you don't require that link zone. And again, the key play is to go for the King of Feral Imps and this before you make this card, and it just makes the deck so much more consistent. But if you guys do have suggestions for this build, I would love to know in the comment section below. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. If you are new here, hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss out on the Synchro version of this deck, which I really do want to cover, and I think it's going to be overall a little bit better. Again, because you can loop your opponent, well, you can technically loop your opponent for everything if you're playing in the OCG. If you are playing in the TCG, though, you could still get, you know, you get 5, which is everything anyways, unless of course you activate like a Cup of Ace or something. But yeah, the key thing is to go for this before going for the other plays. Also, there was a Lambda. I didn't really talk about this card, but it lets you activate Ciphering Gear cards in your hand, but it also is like another stepping stone. For the most part, it does have another effect though, where it's if another face-up Psychic monster you control is banished face up on the field while you control this card, during the end phase you could add another Ciphering, but it's basically just for the extra zones, honestly, to be honest. I don't think too much play with it. But anyways, if you guys want to send me any replays, feel free to go and do so at AzneyesReplays@gmail.com. But thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for tuning in, have a good one, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.